G'day, how are we going tonight, guys? Welcome to the Hex Late Show.
Excellent, excellent. How are you guys going? Bit of sideways actions yet again, a week of sideways, but earning interest every day, which is, what Hex is all about.
That's what we're here for, man. That's what we're here for. What's going on, Bloobum? What's going on, Sammy?
Yeah, just been enjoying my life.
Go on, Bluey.
Yeah, just been enjoying my life, getting out into the sun. Been doing a new course, an online course that I kind of registered with, and just kind of enjoying living my life, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, thinking about how to get out of Australia. Also, kind of in this kind of all.
That's all of us, man.
Yeah, I know. But I'm also kind of, I'm kind of split because on the one hand, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get out. This is ridiculous. And on the other hand, I'm thinking, wow, there's something really interesting happening here in Australia. Like, we're ground zero for something. And like, I don't know, there's something about, I love Australia, I love Australia, the country and the people, but I'm also thinking I could be more help if I'm outside the country, just kind of like, flinging money or resources to the right places or whatever. And I don't know, it's a tough one, isn't it?
I was listening to Adam Stokes. He did a Sunday. I think he started doing a Sunday crypto weekly review. He used to do them a while back, and now he's just started up again with them, and they're really good. He just,
I like his stuff. Yeah,
he just goes over everything that's happened in the last week. And, he talks a little bit about Hex in it. I mean, so go check it out, guys. Adam Stokes. He's done a couple of interviews with Richard.
He's done three interviews with Richard.
2 or 3, yeah. He's done 3 of them. Go check. But even he was he just kept going back to he was just talking about the tax, and he circled back to the tax thing a couple of times. And he's he's been listening to the Nomad Capitalist, and it's people, you go where you're treated best. So he's just I'm just hemorrhaging money to the tax office. So it's in every it's we're all thinking about these things, and they sort of make it a little bit easier when they've got and we're not going to get onto this topic tonight. This is not going to be what we're here to talk about Hex and Pulse and the biggest airdrop in the history of crypto, potentially. But it's what's gone on in the last while here sort of makes you think. It just makes you consider the other options. It's definitely made me consider the what other options we have as a family.
Absolutely.
I know love Australia. Thinking about it,
I love it. I love Australia too. I think we live in such a great country, and our government do a lot for us, but considering what's happened in recent events, it's changed. But if you look at other governments across the world, they may not be any better. And I think we live in a great country. I want to stay here, regardless of crypto. I don't know what I'll do in the future, but obviously, if you want to move, that's fantastic. But
I agree with you, Sammy. I agree with you. If you're moving out of Australia in the hope of finding a better league of politicians or government, good luck. Good luck. If you're going to leave Australia, you're leaving Australia because you're just going to leave Australia for whatever reason. You want to go somewhere else. You want to have an experience. You want to, But if you're leaving Australia to find better politicians, that ain't going to happen. That's not.
Well, this is the tough thing as well. It's where do we go?
Well, if you look at our system, we're so lucky. Having worked for Centrelink, you should see how much money the government give away, and they don't do that in a lot of other countries. We have Medicare, which is, for people who don't know what Medicare is, and hello everybody, good to see you. It's basically a card that you can either doctor or go to the hospital. You can go, and then your bulk bill.
Public health insurance,
yeah. Don't pay. You pay nothing, or you pay as a family one amount, which is not even over $1,000 usually for the whole year.
But you can go to doctors that that you don't pay. Like there are clinics where you just don't pay to go to the doctor at all. So you can always, you can always, you can always, go see a doctor or whatever.
I just avoid just all costs though. Like I just avoid all Western medicine at all costs nowadays. Like if you're going to talk like medicine, Chinese medicine is like streets ahead of Western medicine, I reckon.
I agree.
If I'm sick, I'll go to a Chinese doctor and get like the herbs or something like that. I won't go to a Western doctor.
Bro, most of the doctors I've seen in the last 10 years have been Chinese doctors anyway. So
I agree, Bluey. They do amazing things.
They're all very good.
I'm just more saying that, when you've got a family and for example, free dental, that is a big
You don't
bonus.
get free dental. You don't get free dental in Australia.
We
no,
do.
You don't.
My children, I do.
The kids do?
Yeah.
You don't though. As adults, you don't.
No, but you can. You can basically do it nearly for free if you go to a community dentist, which is a dentist set up for families in need. You can go to a community dentist and pay bugger all for the dentist.
You mean the student dentists?
No, this is adults as well. In Victoria, we have community dentists.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got some really cool stuff. It's going to be hard to go. I know in America you can't even get the dole for more than 6 weeks over there. And I just saw a post the other day of someone put a town.
Why are we talking about the? Hey, can I ask? Why are we talking about the dole? Why are we talking about any of this stuff?
Don't worry about that.
Exactly the opposite of why we're here. We're here to talk about hex.
There's a lot of benefits. No. Yeah, true. There's a lot of benefits.
All right, why don't we, Sammy? Do you want to tell us, Sammy? Why? Tell us about hex. Tell us about hex.
So,
just for those who are watching who don't know what this show is about, this is a show dedicated to hex and things related to hex. But Sammy.
So everyone who doesn't know, hex is a movement. It's a new invention from Richard Hart, is the founder. There's other devs involved as well. And in 2000 launched it, and it's basically a cryptocurrency which you stake out and you can earn trustless interest up to 37% APY, I think, as at the moment.
Not up to more. You do
that's an average of 30.
Sometimes more. Yeah. And basically it's been overperforming in the last 6 months. Well, it's done over 10,000x.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Within 2 years.
It's appreciated by 1,000,000% in less than 2 years.
And the founder, Richard Hart, is really amazing. He's the smartest guy in crypto. And that's why a lot of people feel a bit jealous of him, because he's so smart and he really knows crypto like the back of his hand. So, Richard, you can get rich in this space. You just got to hold on. And we've got the best community. If you go on Twitter or Telegram, and more Twitter, there's an amazing group of people with all these different kind of things. Like we have DJs, we have rock songs, we have mental health expert people who help you. Richard Hart's also introducing PulseChain because Ethereum chain is so expensive to trade on. He's now got PulseChain, which is reducing fees to less than a cent, and that's coming out, I think, maybe, guys, launching about December, maybe January. What do you think, December? So, and PulseChain is going to be huge, so you want to get on board. Is that okay?
Well done.
Good work, Sammy. Good work. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. So, hey, Pulse. So there's been a lot of forks. There's been a lot of new chains, EVM compatible chains, like Ethereum, virtual machine compatible chains. Like there's a lot of people have heard of BSC, or they would have heard of what else is out there. There's Theta. That's the EVM compatible as well. What else is out there? There's
EVM compatible. Avalanche.
Yeah. Avalanche.
Is Tron one?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not an expert on that, but I know that there's a lot of these other chains that are EVM compatible, and they've launched, but they've launched empty, right? So there's no like all the addresses are empty, and people just start from scratch and just build from scratch, like build a new chain for a new blockchain.
New ecosystem.
Yeah, they start up from exactly. Now the difference with this is what makes PulseChain, PulseChain.com. This is what makes it unique in the space, and why it's being touted as the biggest airdrop in the history of crypto. What's different about PulseChain is that it is launching. It's going to be a fork of Ethereum, so there'll be a block at which PulseChain forks from Ethereum. But what's going to happen is Pulse is going to launch with a full Ethereum system state. That means if you had ERC20s or NFT, like ERC20s or whatever you had on Ethereum, you're going to get a copy of that on the PulseChain. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens here, because everyone who's got something on Ethereum is going to get a copy on PulseChain. It's going to be insane. Like, no one knows what's going to happen. This is the thing. No one knows what's going to happen, but what we know is that everyone's getting airdropped all their tokens on the other chain. And there's going to be like a Uniswap or a Pancake swap on the PulseChain. It's going to be really, really cheap to transact. Like, when I say really cheap, it's going to be fractions of a cent. Now I have played around on the Pulse testnet, which was launched. When was it launched? About a week ago? A week and a bit ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
And it is so quick. It's so quick. It's so refreshing. And so little Pulse gets taken out as gas when you do a transaction. It's amazing. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen. You know, I honestly cannot wait to see what's going to happen, because it's almost like there's no point of reference for this. This has never happened before. You know, it's never people have forked things before, but they've never forked something like Ethereum, which is the biggest, like, you know how they call it the world computer? I'm not sure if that's like the best description of it, but really, you know, Ethereum's this thing. I'll just finish this point. Ethereum's this thing that other projects can build upon on top of Ethereum, you know. So it's the first one of its kind that's launching with system state. So yeah.
So when Ethereum forked from Ethereum Classic, what is now called Ethereum Classic, you didn't get copies of tokens on both chains, hey? They didn't do that back then. So I wonder how it worked back then. Like, if you had stuff on the original chain. Like, I just remember it forking.
I think it did.
So all the tokens forked over as well. So each.
But hang on, that was pretty early on. So it's not like there was.
Well, it wasn't that early. I mean, it was like I think Ethereum launched in 2014, and the fork happened in like 2016.
Did it?
Yeah.
I've got to brush up on my Ethereum history.
But yeah, I don't know.
Even so, that was very early on. I mean, that was very early on back then. Let me just bring up
in the crypto world, yeah. Now, while you're bringing that up, actually, Raj D just asked if he reckons we should stake now, wait for the PulseChain to come out. I reckon you stake now. I don't reckon you should wait around. Who knows if it's going to be 2 months, if that 2 months is going to turn into 3 months. I reckon
we're almost at 19,000 hex per T-share.
Just stake it, grab your good T-share rate, and like whenever the fork happens, you'll either have it as a stake that's about to come out, or you'll have it as a stake, or you'll have it as like it's not worth holding liquid unless you need that for the cash. Like even if you don't want to stake out really, really long, I think it's always better to do rolling stakes. High value rolling stakes is better than getting no interest whatsoever. If you don't need that cash on hand, then I reckon staking is the way to go. Yeah. Hey, Tansy, how's it going, bro?
Hello.
Hey,
Did the time slot change?
You're just checking out
daylight savings or something.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Because for me, this is an hour earlier than normal. That's why I'm late. I saw Sammy's tweet that you guys were live, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hey,
Jexxa, what's up?
We've got everyone. See, the boys in Western Australia are lagging a little bit, but we got here in the end.
Perth group just finished their dinner, and they're coming on stream.
So we had daylight savings came in like it was already in last week. So,
and so
you weren't here last week. That's it.
So basically, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I missed last week. So where the channel mainly runs from, they have daylight savings. So all the shows get moved.
Well, it's all based around the guys in Melbourne, really.
Yeah, it's all the Melbourne crew.
Whatever they want to do. Day43 is driving the ship, so he gets the same.
Whenever Day43 is free, that's when we stream.
Well, you guys always seem to turn up, so it's been working so far.
I'm with me, mate.
Until we have a mutiny.
Other shows, like all the other shows, come from all around the world, right? So do they all move by an hour, or
things move all over the place, man. Things move
all of them. Okay.
Place. Yeah. Like,
do you guys have daylight saving in WA?
Nope.
No.
Never. Oh my god, you're missing out. Daylight saving
I prefer to not have it. I just find it annoying. I just think the clock should just stay the way it is always.
No.
You know, I think
if someone wants to get up earlier or get up later, just get up earlier or get up later. We don't need everyone to change their clock so that you can start your day earlier.
The whole world should be one time. The whole world should be on the same time.
I agree with that, actually. Yes. Let's go a step further.
Some places they get up at 3 p.m, whatever. You just change it for wherever in the world you need to be.
Yeah, we should just all be on UTC.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially now that we do such global stuff like Zoom conferences with people all around the world. Do you know how often I have to look up what time it's going to be in here when someone says they want to meet at like a certain time on EST or CST or
it's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass,
man. I disagree with what you're saying, man.
I'm with Bloobum 100%. Let's take a vote. We've got an odd number of people.
Hang on. Let me make my case first. Time is linked to distance. We know this, right? Although Bloobum is like against this because you're anti.
Well, actually, it's the same.
You're anti-Einstein, mate. But time is linked to distance, right?
Well, you could say they're exactly the same thing.
Maybe you could.
Space-time.
Continuum.
But we're not changing. Bloobum and I are not suggesting that we're changing the units on the clock.
Of the universe.
It's just the baseline. So it's time would still be measured the exact same way.
But the problem is
you'd just be eating lunch at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, there are times
doesn't work. This doesn't work because like the further away you get, like there's actually like the distance matters. How far you are away matters because the time.
From what? From the equator or from?
No, from like wherever one person is keeping a unit of time in one spot, right? And then another where someone else is keeping a unit of time. If you travel from that spot to that spot, there's going to be a difference in the clock.
There's an island up in like in between America.
I probably didn't explain that well.
There's an island somewhere like off the coast of America and Russia, like somewhere around Alaska or something, where if you stand like on like 8 kilometers, if you stand on one side of the island, it's like a completely different time to like 8 kilometers over. Like it's the time zone.
The time zone splits the actual island. Yeah.
Yeah. As you get closer to the northern pole, that should happen.
It's the dumbest system.
Guys. Dean DK is with me, so it's been resolved, okay?
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Dean,
what's happening with the Hex price, Sandra? What's this?
You guys haven't seen Back to the Future. You guys should know about this shit now.
Oh, sideways action. Yeah, I was surprised that the price went down again, but I think we are in a wedge. We haven't broken up or down from the wedge yet.
It's getting very, very tight, and I think everyone that does TA on Hex, and myself included, I said it was going to pop within 7 days. That was probably 2 weeks ago. Then last week I said it's going to pop in 7 days, and Everyone's calling it, and I think
I've also been noticing.
Jenkins was saying the 10th it was going to move, and it was just been stretching out further and further and winding up coiling tighter and tighter. So,
sorry, go Bloobum.
Well, I was just noticing on Staker app that there's like a ton of really big stakes that are just rolling over every 30 days or 2 weeks or whatever. So I think there's a lot of people who kind of like people want to. A lot of people have made a lot of money and they're starting to want to take some of those profits. So I think that's what we're seeing, and it's just sideways action. And do you remember we had that about 6 months of sideways at one point, didn't we? Like we had a really long time of sideways, and like that's why you stake. That's why you stake and just earn that interest. You know what I mean? And then it doesn't matter if it's going sideways.
Yeah.
Liquidity providers also win on sideways.
Yep. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Sammy?
So do you guys reckon that the gas price is suppressing the hex price? I mean, realistically,
I don't.
It can work both ways. People can be locked in, and it can prevent people from buying and selling. So people get fee locked in either direction. So I assume it would kind of balance out.
Someone was going to pay like thousands for gas today in a transaction.
Yeah, that was an end stake, and it was a long that was a stake that had started in day 9. So that's pretty much maximum stake length that the system's seen almost, bar the 9 days prior.
How much was it?
That was 900, but the current rate was at about 100 gwei on the gas tracker.
That's not even crazy. Like 100
No.
I mean, I've seen it easy 150, 160 easy.
Yeah. It was just a long stake, a lot of calculations involved.
You can always find it for between 30 and 50 gwei if you just wait.
Yeah, and that's right. So all you do is you just set your you don't even have to wait. If you're not using your wallet for other transactions, just set your end stake transaction with the gas fee that you're happy to pay. So change it from the default wallet fee to 50 or 40 or whatever you want, and it'll just sit there in the background. And when the miners get a bit of capacity and they deem it feasible to pick up that transaction, they'll pick it up. You don't have to sit there and watch
how long does that? I've been curious about how long that could sit. Like how long can a transaction?
Really indefinitely. I don't know whether they get stale or not. Probably after a week or so, you'd probably get stale.
But there must be plenty of that. So are you saying that there's like tons and tons of transactions which are only for like 5 gwei or 10 gwei, and they can be there for years without getting fulfilled? This is pending transactions.
Well, assuming they don't get dropped from the mempool, I guess so. Yeah.
And how would they get dropped from the mempool?
Yeah, look, I've got to be honest. That's getting beyond my knowledge on how the miners work. I'm not sure.
It is a bit risky. Like it is a bit risky. In like, what if you do that and it just never gets down there, and then you end up having to cancel it? And
all you do is just it doesn't cost you anything. You just go back into the go.hex.com, end stake again, and replace it with the fee you want. It just overwrites the transaction. Yeah, it's easy. I do it all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
J43, do you want to show this chart?
Yep.
So this is what Jexxa and I were talking about before. I'm watching this wedge here. So you've got at least 5 or 6 touch points on this bottom trend line and this top trend line. So those 2 yellow trend lines forming that wedge. So I wouldn't be concerned personally unless it was closing significantly outside the bottom of this trend line here. And yeah, I'm with Jexxa that I thought that it was going to break upwards earlier, but I guess we've got still a fair bit of time before it gets right into the nose of it. But my expectation is that we will break up. That's all.
Well, it should be a continuation pattern.
Yeah.
And we've been going up. So if we continue that, that's going in the right direction. I think it was Bluey. Did you just say it's just people using the system as intended and taking the cream off the top?
That's it. You know, a lot of people have made a lot of money and they're spending it now. You know, we're seeing the hex flexes all over the place. That's all sell pressure, you know. And that's what's meant to happen. You want to, you know, make money on this and spend it in the real world. What's the point of being a miser and just like being the richest person and never spending any of it?
Yeah, but this isn't the first time we've crabbed sideways like this, and won't be the last. You can't go up at the rate of knots that we did and not have a period where you just cool off.
Yeah.
So that's healthy to have that cool off and that consolidation period, and that's a chance for people to accumulate. So yes, you're right. You've got sellers, but on every other side of that, you've got someone buying. And if that's a good chance for them to buy in, happy days. Everyone's happy, and then hopefully we leg up to the next level and we do it all over again. If we keep doing that, all good. That's the system working. But what I think you did mention that if you staked, you're getting interest anyway, and that's what I'm saying. The system's working as intended. Whilst we're sitting in this sideways period, if you are completely liquid, then yeah, you'd be sitting there going, oh, this is boring, or I'm getting diluted or whatever. But if you're staked, situation normal. You're getting paid every day.
And it's just, I'm just looking at the change in total holders at the moment, and it's just a nice steady stream up, you know, somewhere between 600, 700, 800, 900 people every day, or 900 new addresses every day. Like, it's going to have these spurts, and then it's going to have these sort of just like times where it just goes sideways, and that's what's happening, you know. But the trajectory is up. More and more people are finding out about it.
I actually got, you know, when you follow people on Twitter and you can't follow people anymore, like I'm actually following that many new accounts that I hit my limit on a daily.
What?
Yeah, it's telling
me. Is there
a
max?
Yeah, like there's a max. You can't follow like too many people at once. Like there's just that many new people all over the joint.
Wow.
Hey, did you guys all hear about those two massive sacrifices over the last couple of weeks? The 300K.
I saw one that you tweeted about, Sammy, that was like 130 grand a few days ago.
140K in Matic.
Whoa.
I mean, that's a lot of money to play around with, isn't it? Like 140 grand. You don't just do no research and just, oh, yeah, I'll just chuck 140 grand in this. Like, really, when he could have got the same thing for a couple of $1,000 at launch, like the Pulse sacrifice.
It's like 50x.
I did the same math.
But if people are doing it, why do you guys think that these people are doing it, throwing money around like it's you know?
I assume that they must just think that when the mainnet launches, the price is just going to immediately go to the moon with how much interest there is from people that found out late, and they think that the price they can get now, even though it's a terrible rate compared to the official launch phase, is still going to be better to lock that in than just miss just a gigantic pump from the start. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so I was chatting about this today with someone, and I think it's either total ignorance where they don't realize what's going on and they've just aped in and that they don't understand the multiplier that they missed out on, or they're that bullish on it that they don't care, and the amount they're missing out on is in their mind negligible to where it could go, and therefore they're still even if you're coming now, you are still early. Now you obviously I think you said 40x or 60x or something,
somewhere between
behind.
40 and 50x now. Yeah.
So you've got a lot of catch up to do, but okay, Hex has done, what is it, a couple of thousand X now?
Yeah, almost 10,000 X.
So, yeah, 10,000 X. So, yeah,
the
you've
first
missed a bit.
X is not a big deal.
Yeah, you've missed a bit, but hey, you're still early, and they could be thinking, if I wait longer and it launches and I can't get any, or it goes up 10, 20x, 30x, whatever on launch, I'm potentially gambling and missing out on that opportunity. So, yeah, either ignorance or just super bullish, I think.
Have you guys seen this chart here? Just bring it up. You probably can't see it on screen. What this chart tells you, what it shows you is
so someone stretched this out up to current
Yeah,
date.
so the top part of it is the original chart to show what would happen, and then they stretched it out for the part beyond the official phase.
Yeah, so we can look here. So it says if you sacrificed 135,000, which is just under 140, you would have got a 1.5 factor increase in your pulse tokens or your pulse points. So we can actually work that out. Yeah. We're doing maths on stream.
When I've been saying those
10,
numbers like 30, 40, 50x, I think I was not even counting any of the volume bonuses. I was purely looking at the base rate.
Yep. So that person,
so it's actually even worse for them.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to work this out. That person did 140,000 multiplied by 10,000 times 1.5. That gives you 2.1 billion pulse tokens or pulse points. 2.1 billion pulse points, and that compared to them having they would have got about 200 pulse points instead of that 15,000.
So what day are we at currently?
We're probably at 80.
I think we're just over 80 days,
89. 89.
All right.
Wow.
So Dawsy's just put a comment in the chat saying at day 194 of the SAC phase is when you get 1 pulse point per $1 spent. That's a fair way off.
Yeah, because it compounds.
Instead of 10,000
interest.
Yeah. So just to put that in perspective for everyone that doesn't realize this, at the beginning you were getting 10,000 points per $1 spent. So that's that's 10,000x difference. If you're sacrificing at that point, you're ignorant.
Is it really that extreme? Is it?
Well, I'm just going on what Dawsy said here. I haven't obviously done the math.
Because I know the compound interest obviously ramps up exponentially, so it could be that extreme. I think Richard better launch that mainnet before someone just gets absolutely wrecked by this.
Hey, yeah, well, that $300,000 dude, he got 91 million pulse for that 300,000. I'm not sure.
How do you 21 million? You reckon? Yeah,
that's crazy. So what day are we now? If it's a dollar per pulse on day 194.
So right now we're sitting on about 174, roughly. Let's just say about 200 pulse points per dollar.
Right. So that's five. How much? That's
so how much? That 140,000 times 200.
It's half a cent. So they're buying it at half a cent now.
Is that right? Yeah.
I'm really loose math, and I think that person
mil.
might be out by a factor of 10. When they said $1, I think maybe it's 10 cents. In like 10-ish days from now, I think it will be around the 100x, not 1,000x.
Really, I don't think it's a tactic. If you want pulse, the thing to do now is buy hex.
Yeah,
I think so.
This is a theory, and I'm not saying that anyone should go out and sacrifice now because it's probably it's a really, really terrible rate. But one is that person could be going to jail and just sacrificing and putting it away for like 10 years or something. Or it could be a dev who knows something we don't, or it could be a couple of devs. I mean, who throws around that money?
There's loads of people.
But who throws around that kind of money? I mean, what? I mean, we really got to consider they want to know what they're doing with that kind of money. It's not child's play.
Yeah,
you know?
I got on Bluey's comment from a while back. Just because you got a lot of money doesn't mean you're smart.
Yeah.
So I just worked out, guys. I just worked out $140,000 sacrificed on the first day would have got you about 2.1 billion, and sacrificed like today would get you 28 million. So it's a difference of 75x.
That sounds right.
And that's without volume multipliers.
No, that's everything calculated.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Look, yeah, I think it's if you want to chuck a little bit in as like just in case you want to get into that sacrifice set, in case there are any other airdrops, like maybe it's worth doing that, but for a very small amount of sacrifice. But if you want to get Pulse, the best thing to do is to buy Hex. You'll get the Hex Pulse on the other side, and if you really want them, you can just buy them, and they'll be competitive at least, because a lot of people will be like going in and out between Hex and Hex Pulse. So at least I think you'll get a better price.
Thanks to Hex Machine for the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on liquid loans, on PulseChain? In my opinion, groundbreaking protocol, Aussie founders, Crypto Crazy, and Scottish Hex Dave. I had a read through the white paper yesterday. It's definitely, I'm going to have to go back and read it again because it's definitely like on the more complex side. And I had kids running around, so I was limited in how much I could absorb. But it's definitely, I'm looking forward to seeing like hexagons go out just like these guys and do stuff like this. Like I like the idea that we're gonna build on Pulse and build interesting stuff on Pulse. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah. So likewise, sorry. Yeah. I've done a good deep dive on the white paper. It ticks a lot of boxes. So from a no admin key, no team needing to manipulate interest rates or action anything, so that the system's self-contained in the way it rebalances pools and things like that, and handles liquidation events and things like that, which are normal and all part of the system. Looks pretty good. I think anything that gets brought to Pulse from members of the Hex community is held to a higher standard than a lot of the other trash that will get launched on Pulse by unknown devs. It won't get support from the Hex community or like the core people that understand the importance of trustlessness unless it meets those key requirements. So audited, hopefully battle tested prior, those sorts of things. And this ticks all of those boxes. It looks pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, I was just going to say, fits within the ethics of the community, and it's one of the things that was on Richard's own list of might not have been must-have, but it was definitely on his short list of things that are important for Pulse to eventually have.
Yeah. So put it out there. What other stablecoin would you have on the network? Because it's a lending protocol, which is pretty cool in itself. But to be able to have that back or support your own stablecoin on Pulse, that's where I see some pretty big value. And because if we don't have something like that, what are your alternatives for stablecoins? There's a whole lot of, in Richard's words, middleman D that goes with normal stablecoins.
Yep. At some point, when it comes to a stablecoin, at some point there has to be interaction with actual dollars. Like that's the whole point. Hang
on, say that again.
At some point, you're going to need to be able to interact with dollars on a one-to-one basis for that stablecoin to have a peg. To be able to say this has a peg, you need to be able to swap that for an equivalent value in actual dollars. Otherwise,
I wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah,
how's a stablecoin?
Okay, so a stablecoin. But you can have something stable at $100.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, but that's the same.
I agree.
What
I'm saying,
I think you're confusing stable and peg.
Maybe I am. Tell me. So to me, a stable coin is going to be something that I can rely on, while like cryptos, like stable coin to me is like stable with fiat currency in my mind.
If you choose it to be. If you choose it to be.
Yeah. You know, otherwise you could just say, well, I'm going to use Bitcoin as my stable.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. You can not peg it, but try and be stable within a price range of what Bitcoin is, or what Ethereum is, or what any asset is. So that's the stable aspect, as opposed to pegged, which means it's reliant on having one asset back it. Really, would be my distinction.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe my interpretation of it is incorrect. Maybe I need to rethink the way I'm assessing this, because the way I think of stablecoin, I'm automatically thinking fiat currency, because that's like my experience so far.
So I think there are two subtle things going on here. So a stablecoin definitely implies that it stays pegged to something else, and I think it's fair to assume it's going to be a fiat currency. And then how it's backed, if it is claimed to be able to be redeemable for, say, US dollars, it helps psychologically for people to believe in it maintaining that value. But then it's always market forces that actually determine where it's at.
Yep.
And that's why some stables don't hold their peg, is because for whatever reason, either, there could just be market forces, people are panic selling, or people are tether FUD, or some reason that has made it go off peg. And so I think they are two subtly different things. The intention of the stable coin and what the mechanism is that helps it to maintain its peg. And so you've got things like algorithmic stable coins where the way they try to hold their peg is actually manipulating the supply rather than promising that it will be redeemable for dollars.
I think it's basically a unit of account problem. Like, we measure everything against the US dollar. That's our reference point for every other currency, for every other cryptocurrency. It's the one thing that we kind of reference back to. And that's how it's like centimeters or kilograms or something like that. It's in currency, it's a US dollar. And the only reason it is that is because of tradition and narrative and story and history and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's just the way it has been for our lives. And so that's the only way we know how to think about it. But like, really, what use is it to have a pegged asset or a stable coin? Like, apart from being able to measure everything against it, like, I've never
it's
really
useful for traders.
Traders, yeah, exactly.
It's a volatility hedge, yeah.
It's for people who want to like try to play that game of going in and out of something, yeah. But like, and I can understand
a lot of that in crypto.
But yeah, but it's a lot of risk just to have that ability.
You, Sammy.
You know, like I've never held a stable coin or
Okay,
like
so all right, let me put this to you. If Hex wasn't pegged, sorry, incorrect word. If Hex wasn't pooled with a bunch of USDC, would we be decorrelated with Bitcoin and ETH?
No, we'd be paired to them. Absolutely. I think it's really smart. I think it's absolutely smart that he did that, because the US dollar, because fiat currencies are going to shit. And like, of course, that's the best thing to pair against, because we're going to see massive increases as they print more and more dollars. And as people like, it's the smartest thing to trade against for Hex but really it's for that leaking out of fiat into crypto. That's why it's so.
But it separates you from being tied to the fluctuations like everything else is of Bitcoin. So that's big. That's a big deal.
But that's just your reference point. Like you can.
I'm not arguing that. Yeah, I agree.
Like people say, for instance, like people say Bitcoin is so volatile. No, you could also say, well, actually, it's the American dollar which is volatile. And Bitcoin
of 38.
I don't think
they just printed 38% more USD in the last year. 38% more USD. That's pretty volatile, man. You know.
No, that's true, but that went up in a gradual fashion. So you
over the course of
actually very very fast fashion. But Bitcoin oscillated very violently against that, even though it was continuously going up. That continued to go up, and Bitcoin oscillated up and down against that. So you can't say that Bitcoin's the stable thing and the dollar's the volatile asset. I know the point you're trying to make. So if we circle that back around, the USDC that Hexa's paired with its majority is a good thing. We all agree on that. And if we come across to PulseChain, having an asset that works in that fashion, so provides the feature that USDC provides, but without the middleman suck built in, that's pretty attractive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I read the white paper as well. There were some things about it that I didn't understand, and I'd asked a few questions, but I didn't have a lot of time to get into it too much in the Liquid Telegram chat. I would love to have one of those guys on and to ask them a few more questions, because there were a couple of things I didn't quite understand, and one of them was it sounded to me like they're relying on logical behavior and people arbitraging to keep its peg. And
so there's mechanics that encourage stability.
Yeah, and I guess
arbitrage will be very cheap as well. You've got to bear that in mind.
It's going to be
super cheap. It's going to be super cheap to do that as well.
Yeah, so that makes total sense that they've incentivized the system to keep the peg, because there will be people arbitraging it. But also, like, and so, like, I know that there have been other pegged assets similarly that did fail. Like, I remember there was BitShares. That was the first one. It was a delegated proof of stake chain, and they had the first pegged assets, and somehow, like, people were going to get liquidated if it went over and this and that. But then I'm not exactly sure what happened, but somehow they lost their peg and it all went to shit. And I don't know the full story of that, but and like, I would love to get one of those guys on to talk a little bit more about that. The other thing that I question, and just from a purely, because, like, you know, let's all be really critical and let's bulletproof this kind of thing if it's going to happen, is that I don't understand how it's a loan. Like, from my perspective is you've got Pulse and you're locking up the Pulse and you're printing yourself USDC.
And then maybe
so whatever. You're locking it up in a contract, yeah?
Yeah.
So there's but that the process of locking it up in the contract will then produce you the stable coin.
See, I don't see how that's a loan. Like,
because
technically,
this is the collateral.
And
so you're putting in and getting the dollars as the loan.
Maybe it comes down to the definition of a loan, and also how tax authorities are going to treat that. And they'll probably treat it in whatever way is worse for us. So
so you don't lose ownership of your Pulse.
Yeah, I understand that. It's all locked in a contract and all that.
So it's not a swap.
Yeah. That's a good point, Jexxa.
But is it a loan?
You can repay the loan to get back your collateral. I think that's what defines it as a loan.
So Bloobum, I think this goes to a larger thing that we sort of have to address in crypto, especially with something like Hex. It's just like Hex. Like, Hex is something that tax officers know nothing about. You ring them, want to find out something about, like how to how to go about
how to treat it.
Yeah, they've got no idea. They have no idea, and you could ring five times and you'll get 5 different answers. So
that'll be the same with this. Yeah,
this is a bigger issue that we should, as Hexicans, we should probably get on the front foot about this, and we should probably be talking to people that can affect change, perhaps. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe that means that we have to start talking to lobbyists or something. But I think that the way things are right now, I don't really like it, because it's all up in the air. It's what it's like? It's like what the SEC are doing with XRP. It's sort of like that, where they're sort of saying, you guys are in the wrong and we're going to sue you, but we're not going to tell you what you're doing wrong.
And we're not going to give you any of the rules to go by, so that...
Exactly. That's exactly right. So this is sort of like the way I feel it is with, and I feel like we should all be on the front foot and maybe organize in some way to get things done, maybe that's to our benefit, something that just, if we know the rules, if we know them, we'll be able to follow them. But if you don't know the rules, like, it just leaves it open for them to, make stuff up later on and then just apply it to your situation. And then you could, if you've done it wrong, you could be fucked, right? Yeah. So we all want to, we've all got an interest in avoiding that in that scenario. Yeah. But having said that, I just want to say that I'm really impressed by that white paper, really well laid out, really well written. Obviously a lot of effort has gone into it. And I know this protocol is not like built from, like, it is a fork of something that has existed elsewhere. So it is not like just brand new, like never been tested, never been tried. It is something that has existed and has actually been audited before on a different, in its other
incarnation.
That's the word I was looking for. And so now they're going to get it audited again, I believe, which just sort of that's even better. Yeah, that's even better. So I like that people are going out there and doing stuff. That's what we need. We need Hexicans going out there and contributing, and putting stuff out there and making useful things.
Yeah, agreed.
And if sorry, you go.
I only say those critical things. I only kind of like to be critical as well, is so that you can really bulletproof it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So that when people do come out,
man.
well, actually, bing, bing, bing. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, look, I've spoken to Jesse, and and I said to them, I said, look, with anything, we've got to put our devil's advocate hats on and try and think about everything from every angle. That's very important for us to do. But at the same time, going out and talking shit about something is not like, that's not. No. I don't like that.
There's history that happened early on in the days of Hex, which made the community very wary about who they trust. So people come into the community pretending to be good actors, launch a project, and essentially leech funds away from Hexicans and leave them with in this instance, left them with a worthless token or a number of tokens. So the Hexican community got very, I guess, vigilant about who they let into the community and want to make sure that they've got their best interests of everyone at heart, rather than just nameless developers crushing people. That about sum that up? What happened?
We've got PTSD as a community for all sorts of shit.
I think we've learnt a lot, and we've got a high expectation of the way crypto should work and how it should look, and how it should not have people that can interfere with the protocols or change the rules on you while it's mid-operation. And you should be in control of your funds is basically what it boils down to. So if it meets those criteria, it's halfway there, I think.
Yeah, someone asked for the white paper to be thrown in the chat, so I think...
I'm just going to go get it, mate.
Yeah, cool. So we'll chuck them.
To be clear, though, just to be real clear, those things that Jexxa was just saying is not aimed at this particular project called Liquid Loans. That was a comment of past projects that have dogged the community, and Liquid Loans is actually by sort of OG community members.
Really smart, really dudes, awesome people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they've thought about a lot of this stuff as well, which is why it'd be great to have one of them on and kind of like get like I felt like after reading the white paper, I needed a whiteboard explanation. You know.
Yeah, I think for anyone who is not who wants an easier way to understand the project, there's an explainer video that was really, really, really good. It was one of the first ones that got posted about the project before they had even given the project a name. That's how early that video was, and it's very clear, very easy to understand.
Where did I'm looking for that white paper.
I think.
Hey, if any of you guys are in the chat,
link in the private chat.
That was a Telegram thing. Is that?
Yeah, that's it.
It's pinned though. So if you go to the Telegram chat, it's pinned.
I went to the pinned and I got the link for the.
Oh, okay, so that's that, is it?
See that? Day 43. You see that 6125? That's the thing that'll link it.
Put it in. There we go. That's there.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And go and join the Telegram chat.
Yeah, just get involved and figure
it out. Get involved, ask questions, it's already got a massive amount of people already flowing in there. I think it's they're over 1,000 people now, hey, within the space of no time at all. Up to 1,677 members already. Like I said, it's even been going a week. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm sure one of the guys would be happy to come on and have a chat with us. Maybe we could do it on the next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can reach out to him.
Yeah.
We know the guys. We know the guys, and you guys are welcome to come on whenever you like. Just next week, or if you're just sitting around, Ty, you can come on tonight, mate.
But something that came up recently, I'm not sure if you saw, Richard tweeted a new Pulse YouTuber, and that chick she showed a little clip of. So I first of all, I always assume that if Richard retweets something, then it's not necessarily a full endorsement, but certainly means that he is not disagreeing heavily with what. Because otherwise, why would he wouldn't retweet something or promote something that is grossly incorrect or goes against his own perceptions or intentions, right? So she showed a little clip of him answering a question in one of these European cities that he went to, saying that he might do a super short warning window for launching the mainnet of PulseChain. Now, she assumed that meant a week or two, and I think that if the purpose is to prevent someone from gaming the network, which was what he said in that answering that question, then I think it would have to be shorter than, because a week or 2 weeks would be long enough to game, right?
Yep.
So
how much advance notice do you need? Like,
yeah. It just happens. Like, it doesn't matter. What are you going to do in a week that you couldn't have already done now?
Yeah, you should have already done it by now.
Yeah.
So there we go. This is the channel. It's called Pulse GAINZ.
Taylor, I believe her name is.
Yeah, she seemed really great, and we were chatting a bit in Hex Pro, and she seems really keen to do more. She's a bit of an OG, actually. She's been in Hex quite a while, And
the quality's good as well, like really good production quality in what she's doing, and nice and clear.
On chat.
Hey, this is just me, but when I looked at her channel, like
she's
maybe a couple of days ago, it was under 1,000.
Yeah, she's getting that.
Richard tweeted out that about her channel, so obviously people go nuts for that. So that pump in her subscribers numbers is directly related to Richard pumping it.
And I think the content she's doing is a little bit different. I don't think so.
Yeah, more chain.
Apart from STA, no one was really doing that. So she's filling that void there, which is good. And I think STA's popped his head up again on Twitter today. So
he's back in the game. Where was he? He was like underground for a while.
I'm not sure. Went AWOL for a little bit.
His head back up. I'm still here, guys.
So it's good that she's having a look into those things and drilling down into the blockchain, because it's just another take. It's an interesting thing to look at, and I hope she keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Do you just want to bring up that?
You know how you guys said, why do you need any notice at all? I saw a couple of people tweet out that Richard might give zero notice and do what he did with testnet and just launch it, and you find out after the fact. But I hope that doesn't happen. Personally, I would like some notice.
You want a bit of a pump.
I want some notice. Also notice just so I'm ready to interact with some of the things I want to do on the chain. So obviously there's two different things here, right? There's the preparation that you want to do before it launches, and then there's the things that you want to do as quickly as possible once it launches. So a bit of notice would be good. So
what preparation are you doing?
Oh, bring assets back from layer 2 chains. Maybe purchasing or selling certain tokens that you do or don't want mirrored. What else? Buying more hex, maybe.
That's pretty much it, isn't it? It's like buy as much hex as you can.
It's basically, I guess, everything you want to do. It's positioning yourself for exactly how you want it to be for the fork, for the mirroring to occur. Also, so less stable coins, and less Ethereum. So I would want almost all my stable coins and all my Ethereum in actual ERC tokens.
So you're going to hold on to some USDC at the fork, are you?
No. I just said the opposite. I don't want stables. So no stables, no Ethereum. Because stables and Ethereum are basically the ones that are most likely to not survive. I mean, it will
no Ethereum.
dilute massively.
Ethereum
have some Ethereum.
Ethereum's worthless.
Yeah.
But Ethereum on PulseChain, once it's converted, is worthless. Ethereum itself is not worthless. Yeah.
But the USDC.
Can I just ask, Jexxa, are you going to get rid of all your ETH for that period of time?
I don't hold much ETH, mate. I hold enough for gas fees.
Yeah, me too.
Which is a shitload of ETH, man. I hear what you're saying. But, all right, so no, I don't either.
Just to round off our previous conversation, just want to bring up that shared screen. So this was Dorsey sent this in. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit. So this is showing. He's hidden a few columns here, but it's showing the rate per dollar, and as it gets compounded at that point, at the 5% each day. So by day 193. Where are we?
It's $1 per pulse.
Dollar points received per dollar. Yeah.
So I misheard you before, Jexxa. I thought you said day 95. That's day 195.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but that won't. That's unlikely to occur, right? Because that would mean mainnet would have to not launch for another 100 and something days.
It's only 3 months. Look, three and a half months.
3 months.
So
that'll fly by.
It's like January.
Fair point. Fair point.
It's like end of January.
Fair point. You know? I mean, I guess this video with Richard saying that. So within this same video, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but Richard also said that he's willing to launch mainnet without a Uniswap clone and without a bridge. He said he won't let those things necessarily hold up the launch of mainnet, which actually scares me a little bit.
Why though? So you could interact with your hex. So if you were concerned about,
why would you do that, or why does it scare me?
No. Yeah, why does it scare you? Like the main thing you hold that would be time critical would be hex stakes, because you don't want them to bleed out. Everything else, it's going to be at zero value until there's a bridge.
Yeah, I don't mind so much about the bridge. It's more I really want there to be a Uniswap or equivalent, so that I can start dumping ERCs that I don't want.
Yeah, look, I think that would probably be a thing you would want, and I honestly don't think that's going to be the showstopper. That to fork V2, and but then you've got.
I guess actually, I could just. I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard for me to just go and learn how to manually do Uniswap trades, because obviously the Uniswap code is going to be there.
It's there. Yeah, that's
just
right.
Not
it exists.
The front end that won't be there. So if I teach myself how to do that through Etherscan, then it means that I'll be able to go and manually do it, and it might actually put me at an advantage because other people who don't know how to do that won't be able to dump as fast as me.
Yeah.
So that's your tactic. Your tactic is to like keep all your ERC20s, and as soon as Pulse launches, dump them.
Yeah. Not hex, but there's a bunch of ERCs that I want to dump that are like non-hex ERCs. I'm just going to
feel like holding them. You want to hold them on Ether. You're a collector.
Yeah, they're ones that I don't particularly want to go to the effort, like the time and effort to sell them all into hex and then have to rebuy small bags after the fork. So I'd rather just leave them and then dump them on the Pulse side.
So there'll be a working block explorer then. If the bridge isn't there and the Uniswap or Pancake Swap isn't there, there will be. You think there will still be a block explorer?
Yeah, there's already a block explorer. I'm just not sure whether it allows you to interact with the contracts. I'll go and check now.
It doesn't.
No.
Okay. Well, then that would be a problem for me again.
Well, why do we think
so? How many
Uniswap V2 version over on PulseChain? Like he said that he's going to do that.
I know, but the current Uniswap V2, which has got all the liquidity pools and everything there, if that goes across, then you can obviously trade straight away. Otherwise, you've got to create a fork of it, then create all the pairs and pools and whatever yourself. But if
isn't
you're
that the
forking
minimum
V2,
viable? Isn't that part of the minimum viable that he's talked about?
I think it's up there. Yeah, it's up there.
That's why I was surprised by that comment that he made.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't mind. I mean, all it means is like we've already waited this, like however long we're gonna wait. Like this is what it is. We wait X amount of days through testnet for it to launch, and then it launches, and you might have a period of time where there's no bridge or there's no, whatever.
I don't think you want a bridge straight away. You want at least a few days to move things around if you want.
Yeah, there is a real benefit. There is a real benefit in being able to move things around at zero value and not have taxable events. There is a real benefit to that.
Yes.
And we should not underestimate just how good that would be.
Yes. You're kind of flying blind.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Well, yes and no. So you'll know the ratios will be set to what they would have been on the other side, and you're going to have USDC over there. So if you set that ratio,
I think USDC will have value on the Pulse chain. I think people will just treat it as USDC
unless they turn it off,
and we won't know whether they do or they don't anyway, because it'll just have that price. And I think people will trade against it
unless they turn them off.
Yep.
You don't want to be caught. You don't want to be caught out in that situation, like with USDC in your wallet. You've swapped something for USDC on that side, and then they turn the shit off, and you're like, "Fuck." You don't want that.
Yeah, that's true.
So the other question I was going to ask you guys,
the trustless, immutable DeFi crypto.
So
you want to stick to
Uniswap, the Uniswap contract comes across. There are a number of different front ends that are aggregators. True.
Mm-hmm.
So all we need is one of those guys to have a switch on there for Pulse, and you've got a working DEX. True.
Yes.
Now,
have you heard of any promising that though?
No, I haven't.
Well, you know what 1inch have just done? They're trying to comply with American laws now, and they're not allowing like Americans to do certain things. Hey?
Yep, they're dead. They're dead to me.
Yep. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. They've. I think as soon as you start taking, and I don't know what their background is, whether they've taken VC money or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think you've got to wonder about governance tokens as well. As soon as you do one of those, does that then become an issue? Like if you've taken VC money,
these guys just shoot themselves in the foot. That's just shooting yourself in the foot. Like crypto is about like working without anyone's permission, and these guys just start excluding like countries.
For you, that is important, but for them, the bigger play is regulatory arbitrage. So the guys at Circle who issue USDC, they would be happy to become fully compliant, I would think.
Yeah.
Because then that puts them in a position where they can essentially be the central bank digital currency if they get enough acceptance.
Yeah, but it's going to backfire on them because they're trying to like when you try to placate governments, it's never ends well.
They have to be regulatory compliant because of what they do. Like they've got US dollars sitting there potentially. They're saying is backing up what is now really a derivative.
You know what I was thinking about with these central bank digital currencies, like in the last few days, when AWS was completely hacked, Twitch, the whole source code, everything of Twitch was downloaded onto a BitTorrent file that you could download for 128 gig. Like, and how much everyone earned and everything. And all of the source code for Twitch, all of the source code was just hacked and was just stolen. And like what central banks don't realize is that what they'll be creating through a central bank digital currency is just a massive honeypot. And everyone is going to be trying to hack it, and they're going to succeed. they just hacked Facebook. They've just hacked AWS. They've just hacked Twitch. That's only in the last week.
God.
Like a central bank it's just such a bad idea.
No, it is. I'm not saying it's a good idea.
It's a terrible idea.
I'm just saying people see money and
clueless as to how bad an idea it actually is.
Yeah.
Like they just got these fantasies of wanting to have control, and this is how they think they can do it, and they're just clueless.
Okay.
So
if they're clueless, sorry, you go.
Guys, can I just address that comment that flashed up from Justin F? That's actually not being done manually. That's being done by a bot. So that's a bot that Richard Hart and the devs are going to run, and that still doesn't have anything to do with the front end. It's the front end that we're talking about. That bot that goes through and fixes all the ratios, that's still back end related.
That's going to happen before we have access to it anyway.
Exactly.
That's all going to happen before we have access to it.
Anyone can really get on there and do anything.
Yeah. So once we can get on there, we're hoping that there's a way to. I have the feeling that a fully functioning block explorer is going to be like, it's going to be up and running. I'd be very surprised if there's not a fully functioning block explorer with a front end, a way for us to go in and interact. But you just wonder why they if that's the case, then yeah, look, I don't know about the complexity of these things. It's obviously very complex to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you know, and I haven't bothered to look into this, the guys behind Etherscan, because they've obviously got BSC Scan, I think they've got Polyscan or something as well now. So do you rely on a central team to do that, or is that open source code that can be used? Or I'm not sure how that all works, because that is far and away the best interface for the block explorer. Yeah. So I was surprised.
I prefer that interface a lot more than what they're using for Pulse at the moment.
Yeah. So there must be a reason why they can't use that, whether it's licensed or whatever. I'm not sure. But you would think that would be, and I don't know whether the Etherscan guys have to actually run nodes and participate in the network to be able to do what they're doing. I'm not sure. Maybe that could be the reason.
Hey, you know how they call the Ethereum contract address the black hole? What if they called the Pulse contract address the blowhole? Would that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny?
Let's do it. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I reckon you should try for that one, Sammy.
As long as they don't call it the brown eye.
Nice.
Can we even do that? Would you be an Etherscan for PulseChain?
There's going to be there'll be a block explorer.
Well, there is one. It's just how much functionality it has.
But you know, Pulse is just the playground. There's so much exciting stuff to build, and you know, all this free stuff to use and explore with, and try and make lots of money and trade at nearly zero fees. It's just going to be amazing.
NFTs are going to come across. I think we were talking about that last week. The cost in minting NFTs and doing all that sort of stuff. I know almost nothing about NFTs, but from what I understand, it is a nightmare on Ethereum. It's an absolute nightmare.
So you're saying new NFTs will be incentivized to use PulseChain, but I heard that existing NFT projects are going to get sunk because the actual images themselves are not on the blockchain. So while the NFT code comes across, the actual image does not.
So this is something that maybe one of you guys can tell me. With NFTs, you've got the 8-bit images, right? Those 8-bit images, am I right in thinking because they're 8-bit, there's so little information that they can actually be on the blockchain? Is that right?
That's my understanding of those ones. Now I could be wrong, but obviously
there's the high quality ones like are pointing to a server somewhere.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm not sure if even the 8-bit ones. There are some.
I assumed that, but I didn't know. I don't know.
I think they are, because you can go to Etherscan and view everyone's NFTs in Etherscan and everything. So I think they
You should be able to highlight the code. If it's there, you should be able to highlight the code and throw it into some sort of is it hex?
Compiler.
Is it hexadecimal?
I guess it would be, yeah. Like I'm assuming.
You should be able to throw it into a hexadecimal viewer, and you should be able to create an image out of it.
I thought that were links. I thought it was just links on blockchain, and it's the actual data.
I think that things that have been sort of uploaded on OpenSea and all that, that's the way they work.
You should be able to highlight it and create a file out of it that is an image. If it's on the blockchain, that's what you should be able to do out of it. If that's the way it works. But I would have thought that
you can just click them and save as though, can't you? You haven't actually got much. I mean, in terms of exclusivity to that from some sort of cryptographic key that's kind of useless. I mean,
is there any NFT degens in the chat that understand about
and you're right,
kitties, whether
Bloobum.
they're on the
There's nothing.
chain and
There's absolutely nothing. If that is the case, and it's just like the hexadecimal on the actually on the blockchain, if you highlight that and then you mint another NFT with that exact code on it, you've got an exact same copy of it. It's just who believes which one's the original.
I mean, the whole PulseChain fork just shows the ridiculousness of it as well. Like, they're all going to be doubled. Every single NFT is going to have an NFT on the same NFT on Ethereum and on PulseChain. Like,
but it doesn't break the ownership. If I'm wearing the devil's advocate hat, it doesn't break the ownership chain though, because the same person owns the key.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, the owner on ETH is still the owner. So there's two, but they're owned by the same person. So
yeah,
if you sell it later, you'll only.
That's exactly right. So as soon as you sell it, so as soon as the fork happens, like at that time of the fork, yes, that's true. But if one person sells one, yeah, that's where it falls apart.
You can kind of say the same thing about any ERC20 though, that the owner gets mirrored, but then as people start to sell differently on the two chains, they break away from each other. So,
yeah, true, but they only refer to themselves in a smart contract, so that's a token balance, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's when you're referring to this thing that's external.
I thought I should just mention there are NFTs that I heard about. I never bought any, where the art is actually generated from mathematical code. So that is one that I heard is actually on the blockchain because it's such a small amount of data just for the mathematical formula that then goes and generates the art. So I'm not sure about those 8-bit ones. It kind of makes sense to me that the 8-bit image would be so small that you probably could store it on a blockchain. But
I would have thought so.
But I thought that even those ones were actually also just link referenced.
It's not. It's not that many pixels.
I think I remember like when Nerd Girl interviewed that BSV guy, and that's one of the things that he said was that on BSV, which is Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, which have very big blocks, or is it unlimited blocks or very big blocks? They can actually store all of the data on the blockchain.
Yeah, but we all know that's not a good idea, right?
The whole thing is ridiculous. Like, why you would even want to own a JPEG is ridiculous.
We're
big blocks.
So you're bundling everything into one basket just because we all like to hang shit on people that pay too much for JPEGs. There are NFTs that capture more value than just a JPEG, though. Where they're.
I mean, when I was a kid, I collected footy cards, but that was something kind of physical, and I don't know, but that's fair enough. If people want to collect NFTs, that's fine. Let's go for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
Jexxa, are you talking about?
I'm gonna have to say I might dabble in NFTs. I might dabble a little bit in NFTs.
Oh, really?
I think I might. Like, not expensive ones, a few cheap ones. See what happens. Hang on to a few. Something. This crypto shit does crazy things, man.
I got your OJ for you,
dude. If you're gonna do
that, touching your nose, man.
In and out quickly, man. Flip that shit as quick as you can. Do not be holding NFT when the bear market comes, man. They will be the first thing to go to zero.
Did you see
what I'm saying?
They'll get wrecked.
What I'm saying, I'm going to buy some cheap stuff that, like, even if it goes to zero, it won't matter. I'm going to buy some cheap stuff and just hope for the future.
Did you guys see the Aussie kid who's making a lot of money making NFTs? He's like 12 years old. Did you guys see him? I'll get the article and I'll post it in our group chat. He's like only young and he's making like a lot of money making his little arty-farty NFTs.
I actually talked about this on Cabana's Happy Hour show.
Tangent, can I just pause? You might just want to be careful what you say. I know where you're going with it. It's up to you if you want to talk about it. But
me?
Yeah. I heard that conversation.
Oh, and you think it's not a good idea to
I don't know so much, mate.
In terms of
Now you got to explain to us what you talking about. What about?
It's up to you, but yeah.
No, that's good.
You, mate.
You don't think it's a good idea? I'll leave it.
Yeah. Maybe we have a chat about that one and whether we want to discuss it.
I'll tell Bloobum if you're interested. I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the rapper that's a Hexican, Richie Rich Kid? Richie Rich Kid on Twitter?
Yeah, I've seen.
Oh, he's a rapper.
Yeah, he's got like over 2 million followers. I think he's
like.
Oh,
this is the rapper.
Yeah, he's like in conjunction with Lil Wayne. And now he's a Hexican. Yeah. Rich the Kid. Thanks, Dean. Yeah, Rich the Kid. Yeah, he's a rapper, so he's now a Hexican. And we're getting a few big names. What DJ Lethal, Justice Hill. There's probably more out there. That are getting right into it. It's just the beginning.
I really want the MMA world.
Those guys are already rich when they got into Hex.
Yeah, I can't wait for the MMA world to realize to get onto Hex. Like, it's going to happen in the next few months, I reckon.
What's that?
Richard Hart mentioned that he was going to have a conversation with a very famous MMA coach from Montreal, Faris Zahibi, and I think that if Hex catches on in the MMA community, in the UFC community, it's going to be massive. It's the perfect audience for Hex. In a way, I mean, every audience is perfect for Hex, but yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yep, I agree.
You want to bring up that screen share? We can just switch gears a little bit and have a look at some new tools that are kicking around.
Oh, yeah, he's got that stake.hex or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I reckon it's pretty cool, this tool.
It's pretty brilliant.
So if you haven't checked this out, so KE or Key or however you pronounce his username in Telegram, he's developed Stake Hex today, and it's a pretty cool tool, and it's got a lot more to come. So we'll dive into what it does in a moment, but we'll just scroll down here and have a look at the roadmap. So the thing that I like is the stake modeling, which is we can already do a little bit of, but it's going to get better. And this is the big thing, Pulse support. So this is going to be another front end for Hex, both on Ethereum and on PulseChain. So you'll be able to connect your wallet here and actually manage your stakes. So it's another nice, classy front end that someone in the community's developed. And what's pretty cool, so let's just have a look. If we say we're going to chuck in, I don't know, let's do $10,000, and we want to spread it out over 15 years, and we'll do a maximum of 15 stakes, so one stake every year essentially. And then we go view. It will actually model out those stakes for us. So by years, it's mapped out what 15 stakes could look like. So if we have a look here, so if you put in your principal, I must have done 100,000, did I? Sorry, current. There we go. So we put in $667 per stake currently, and no interest generated because we're doing current. So that's what it's totally worth. But if we go to projected and we stretch that out a year, then this is what it may look like. So that principal, that initial $670 we put in, has grown in capital value. We've collected interest on that. So we've got our principal plus interest, which shows our initial cost and a ROI of 21x. Now, what I really like about this is this tool up top where you can actually tweak some of the variables in the hex system. So what might it look like over time? And I think the way this is set by default is pretty conservative. So if we just keep following the current trend line in terms of price growth, this would be pretty achievable. So by sort of mid to late next year, we might be getting up around that realm in price. Okay, so I don't think that's totally out of the realms of possibility. And then it stops here at $20, and then it flat lines. So what it's saying is over that 15-year period, our projected return could end up looking something like $3.5 million. Actually, I'm going to change that, and we're going to stretch this out to show us over 555 days.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Okay, so that's leaving that price flatlined for pretty much most of the stake period, which we don't think is going to happen. Okay, but it's a cool tool, and we can adjust this however we like to manipulate the price. So if we think Hex is going to get to $1,000, then we can flatten that line out and say, okay, well, that might look something like that. And every time we do that, it's changing our projected returns.
Crazy, huh?
So, yeah, it's a pretty cool tool. It's very simple to use and allows you to do just that stake modeling, which in a very simple way. So you can tweak the price of Hex, and you can also tweak the Hex per day you get on your stake as well. Okay, so you can tweak the two main variables in the Hex system. So this one is controlled by the number of stakers, so how many people stake, and how much of the percentage of the pool you potentially own. And yeah, obviously more importantly from a USD perspective return. So this is USD returns, and this is more Hex returns, would be the simple way to put that. So we can change our figures up here to, I thought we could show them just in Hex. Maybe I've missed that. I thought we could show just in Hex the returns as well. Our projected Hex, there we go. So for a pretty classy tool that's simple for stake modeling, it's pretty neat. And then, yeah, this is also going to be a tool that you can actually manage your stakes through as well. If you've already got a bunch of addresses so first of all, you can put in any address you currently have here, and it will show you all your current stakes and allow you to mess with this modeling. So it's not just for doing simulated stuff. You can actually look at your current stakes, and you can also put in multiple addresses up here, separate them by a comma, and you can put in one or more addresses and see all of your stakes across all of your addresses and apply this modeling to them all, which I think is pretty cool. Have you guys had a chance to play with that tool at all?
Yeah, I played with it a little bit, not as extensively as that. I haven't seen the updates that they've just done. But every time I play with one of those tools, it's just like so ridiculously moonish. Yeah. It's just like, I mean, just buy Hex and stake it, you know. It's like, what else? That's what you need to know right now, you know what I mean? Because the modeling is just like so insane. Like, even if you keep the price like barely moving over the 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, so I think when I'd done my initial stake modeling, it was at like $1, Hex getting to $1 in 15 years or something like that.
Right, we're about to get it in like year 2.
Yeah, so pretty crazy.
Yeah, and as soon as you have any kind of realistic, what you think would be realistic, the projections are just so astronomically insane.
Yeah. So yeah, someone's just asked what the website's called. It's stakehex.today.
Brilliant tool.
So go check it out.
Someone also asked about if you're going to be able to use Trezor and Ledger like with PulseChain, and yeah, you can, because you just have to, because you have to go through MetaMask. You just change the the network in MetaMask, and so you just use your Trezor or Ledger in exactly the same way.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened? We've lost day 43, have we?
Oh. It's gone underground.
No one's driving the ship.
Sorry, guys. I was trying to. I've gone on like just down the rabbit hole trying to like turn an NFT like hexadecimal code into like a JPEG. So I'm just like on the side here trying to do that shit while you guys are talking about that. So continue. I'll get back to it.
So when's Pulse launching, guys? Come on, you've got some secret going on. Are we going to be waiting, December, January? What do you guys think?
I think at least December.
Yeah, I'm saying December.
Yeah.
I used to think that, but that video made it sound like Richard was just going to pull the trigger at any moment. He basically said as soon as the testnet's running smoothly, then it's just going to go mainnet, which is like, it seems to be running pretty smooth right now. If you're not going to worry about Uniswap and bridges and things, then what else is there?
Yeah, Hex's second birthday coming up, but that's only 19th of November. Hang on, when is it? When did it launch?
Yeah, December.
Yeah,
December. Maybe it could launch then. And
January.
What Richard's doing his documentary is thinking about throwing a second birthday Hex party in the UK. And it was asking for people with contacts in the car industry and high account followers. But apparently UK has got really serious COVID restrictions, and people are saying it's probably not a good idea to have it there due to those.
Oh, so
Eastern Europe.
So basically getting influencers, like non-crypto influencers, to be a part of that kind of thing, and all supercars and that, and make a splash. That would be very cool.
Yeah, you can really see him trying to reach out to the outside of the crypto verse, hey? Really like get into all these other communities, whether it's watches or cars or clothing or
Yeah. You can tell he's not naturally a car enthusiast because the Ferrari he chose is just not very inspiring.
Oh, really?
He's always loved his cars.
Yeah, I mean, just even Ferrari in general is not, I think, like, look, I don't. I think
cars and guns. Richard Hart loves cars and guns. Always done it. Hey, some of our viewers,
I think he said
Mango Junkie and all that, saying that the restrictions are really bad over there. But imagine the size of the meetup in the UK. Like, if Amsterdam was like, 150 to 500, imagine UK. That's epic. It'll be massive.
Okay. So I'll put it out there. Sorry, you go, mate.
I just want to say, I think I saw somewhere where, I'm not sure where, but Richard was saying that he bought the Ferrari, that model Ferrari, because its boot was big enough to put like all his shopping in.
Oh wait, and girls, and he goes, I'm not buying a car where you can't put girls in the back. What's the point?
That's it. So yeah, like I think we can give him a pass on that. Yeah.
Look, it's still a nice car. I hope that didn't sound like I was shitting on his car, man. I just
you were totally shitting on his car.
Like I roll around with a lot of like real heavy car enthusiasts, and if you said to like any of them, you've got unlimited money, what car are you buying? That car would not even crack the top 100 cars. Like there are so many cars you would buy with unlimited money before that.
But which car do you buy that appeals to the most people out there?
Yeah.
Right?
But
like to the people who.
Oh man, you'd still, you'd still be like, Bugatti Veyrons, Paganis, Koenigsegg's, McLarens. Like there's just so many cars that would have car enthusiasts and non-car enthusiasts just getting their minds blown as you drive down the street. Like that car is very pedestrian compared to the sort of cars that you can get.
I agree with you, but I'll just say this. I think he made the right choice because
Yeah,
everyone knows
reason.
Ferrari.
Okay,
knows,
yeah. So you're saying he's going to that same thing where he's going the most recognizable brand.
Yep.
That's fair.
All he
That's
wants
fair.
is the
Everyone knows
all he
Ferrari.
wants is the hashtag.
Yeah. That's fair.
But remember, this dude's doing his washing in the bathtub in a 5-star hotel. He's probably only driving it. He's probably only driving it in Europe because like Mercedes are really cheap in Europe. Like, and he just drive them around to country and put miles on them. All he might be doing is putting some miles on it and getting rid of it.
Why wouldn't you get a Rolls Royce?
I think he's getting rid of it. He said he's going to sell it.
Ferrari. Yeah. Chicks like Ferraris. It's a known fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's the same with all the other. Do you think he really likes half the big puffy jackets and stuff that he's brought? He doesn't care about
No
it.
way.
He does not care about it.
I wouldn't even let my dog wear some of that stuff. I don't care if it's $1 million. My dog ain't wearing it. But he can do what he wants. He's got expensive taste. He can afford it. I can't. But I wouldn't.
I just want to address this. Hex in excess, XU1, brother. XU1.
Yeah. Go the Tirana hatchback.
Yeah.
Hey, are you can I ask, Tangent, are you at all into muscle cars, or is it just sports?
No, I am. Yeah, I think the only car category that I'm not that enthusiastic about are really old cars, really old classics where the performance is lacking just because the tech would have been so poor back then. Everything else is fair game. Not that I would necessarily buy it, but I can still appreciate the desire for other people to own those sorts of cars.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do one day. I would like to get a retro mod charger, V8 charger.
Keen.
Something like that. But I want it to be I want it to have all the modern shit in it so that it's safe.
That category of cars are awesome, but they're very, very expensive.
These things don't matter to me, man. They just don't matter. I've wanted a car like that since I was a kid, and I did have a Valiant at one stage, but it was never a cool Valiant. It was just this big boat of a Valiant, and I've always wanted a Charger. I'm going to get one day.
Like one of those Batmobile Valiants.
What's that?
Like one of those Batmobile Valiants. I don't know what they're called. They look like Batmobile.
Batmobile. No, the one I want, I think I'd like an RT Charger.
Hellcat engine.
Well, I don't know if I wanted that big though. It's what's that? It's a Hemi, what?
I think they do drop them into the modern Chargers though.
I could probably go with the straight 6 though, dude. I could go with the 265. That's plenty in that car.
Volvo have actually got a very, very cool resto mod called a P1800. That's very, very cool, but very, very expensive.
Man, I was telling my wife the other day. What's that?
Say that again, Sammy?
Sorry, Sammy?
Sorry, what about who's the Hex Oracle this week? We got the...
Oh, yeah.
We probably should do that, shouldn't we, before we...
Not me.
All right, so...
Emma.
It was pretty poor performance across the board, I must say.
Everyone was still moonish.
Yeah. I've just got to find where I had it now.
Emma's won twice already, so go Emma. Good luck. I hope
all right, so officially the price. Let me just get the latest price check for us.
Oh, who got it last week?
Emma.
Emma.
So she's had it multiple times, hey?
Twice.
Yeah.
Close.
She's a gun. She's the true oracle.
So current price on V2 at the moment is pretty much 40 cents on the knocker. And let me zoom in here if I can. See if I can zoom in. All right, so Archie tried to lowball it. Hang on, here we go.
Is Archie in the chat tonight? I don't think I've seen Archie tonight.
No, I haven't seen him.
Archie, yeah.
So Archie and we got it up there. Day 43. Gonna chuck that up, mate. So Archie tried the low ball and was it's a draw between Archie S and D Bro, only because they were the closest, and well, still 3 cents off.
Yeah.
What's that?
No one got it. No one has even.
No, yeah, everyone was way off.
Is Archie S or D Bro in the chat?
And day 43 was the closest out of everyone on stream.
Yeah,
Sammy Chica.
I'm way off. Yeah, Sammy Chica.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry, Sammy. I didn't see your name there.
But hang on, what about Mega?
It actually, the price was actually 43 cents quite recently. Like I think only a day or two ago, we were at 43.
Doesn't count.
It's pulling the rules on.
I'm just saying. Even these guesses that were the lowest ones, they were still quite close in time, even though it's gone even lower now.
Yeah.
So hang on, guys. So can we clarify if Archie S, D Bro, and Mega Chong are not in the chat? I'm the winner this week.
Yes, correct.
Yay!
Oh, Archie S is in the chat.
Oh, Archie, you just ruined my moment.
That's 2 for Archie as well. 2 for Archie.
Sorry, Sammy.
Yeah, that's all right. Congratulations, Archie S. You're the Hex Oracle this week.
All right, yeah. So I've been using the same guess for the last 3 weeks, hoping that the price will just
me too, man.
That's smart. I think that's a smart way to do it. Is just keep having the same guess.
Obviously not.
And Archie's second time as well. Good on you, Archie. We're happy for you. You're very clever. So do you want to put the link in the chat again so everyone can have their guess?
Well, just knock my mic out. Yeah, have you got that link, or you need me to pop it in the?
I need
put it
you
in
to
the
pop
private.
it in there.
Yeah, I'll put it in the private.
He has to do it, doesn't he?
I've got it. It's in the chat, isn't it? It's
I've got it right now. If you want it, I've got it easy. There you go.
Oh, thanks.
Yo,
okay,
I'm going 80 cents.
80 cents.
I'm going 80 cents.
Oh
man!
I'll tell you what. I drew a couple of random lines today, and I had a range of, I think it was 72 cents to 95 cents. Now, I'm not saying that will happen within the week, but that's where this next run.
So I'm in that range.
Yeah.
I'm going to go fully bearish. And if I'm wrong, I'll be happy.
I've decided I'm going to do 79 cents. Close enough to 80. And
big week.
That's me. Yeah. I reckon if this freaking flag breaks out,
it's going to break. Wow.
You know the rule, flags fly at half mast? That would take us straight up to around that price.
What's that rule? I haven't heard that rule. What's that rule?
Can we have another look at the chart, man?
There's a Wall Street saying flags fly at half mast. So basically, if you're saying that this is the flag and this is the flagpole, I mean, I guess it depends where you say, I drew it from here, but I guess you could argue that this was also a flag here. So let's do it from here.
Yeah.
If that's the flagpole, then this would take us up to like 68 cents.
Yeah. So I think that
but I drew it last time it went to 80, so I'm sticking with 80. because I drew it all the way down.
Can I ask you
to
do something for me, Tangent?
Yep.
Can we zoom in on the very point of that flag?
Yep.
How far out do we think those two?
Before this pinches out.
Yeah, like how far will that go? Like, is that and how far is a week from now, days wise, on that?
So
there's
chart?
There's
room where that could go a week.
Jexxa made a good comment recently, or on a previous stream, that typically these things don't play right into the very end. They typically break out before the pattern finishes. So, but this, technically, the nose of this is on the 24th of October. So, like, just under 2 weeks. So I would expect this pattern to break before we have our next show.
Where is the 19th? Can you just go for me? Do me a favor. Sorry, mate.
No. This is all good. So 19th is right here.
Yeah. Okay. That's my bet there. 42. No, 41. 4155.
So you're saying it'll break this?
I think he's saying it's going to.
You think it's going to still be in the? You think it's going to still be in the pattern?
Yeah.
Hex does have 41.5. Hex does do that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep. If it was at the top end of that pattern at the time.
Hey, do you see Costa reckons it's going to pull back to 24 cents?
Ooh, no deal. Get off our stream.
What do you reckon the chances?
So he's saying
they shut down.
Break down.
They shut down Hex Bear, so now he's in our chat.
So that's all the way down to here. Savage.
Dude, I would be buying so much fucking Hex if we went
down I would
Dude.
be crying while buying Hex. I would just be like,
I wouldn't be crying, dude. I would just be like throwing money at the computer.
Be crying too.
So Tangent, what if you zoom out a bit?
Yep.
What if that flagpole, if you took it all the way from
here?
There? Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to know. This is going to be hectic.
Because look at the size of that. Look at the size of that flag.
Like, because it's on log. Because it's on log, it's going to be a bit weird when.
So that was my upper scale. That's where I said it could go up to 96 or 97.
Oh yeah, that's just over. That's like just over 80 cents. So. I mean, because I didn't go right up to the top of it there, yep. Yeah, I mean, look, like you said earlier, Jexxa, it's more likely that this is a continuation pattern. So and then when you also stack on top of that Hex, you have to be bullishly biased in Hex, just from the history of it, just mainly going up. So I would be surprised if this pattern broke down.
Yeah. Or if it did not, like, there might be someone plays some funny games and does a big market sell, but I think it would get. I'd like to think it'd get snapped up pretty quick. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm quietly confident, and you guys know the rule: hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, so make sure, if you haven't already, you've got your answers in, guys watching.
Yep, just click on the link. That will take you to a page where you just fill out your name and your prediction, and just make sure your prediction is like in the format 0 point whatever it is, or if you're really bullish, 1 point whatever.
Oh yeah, remember, guys, don't forget Bucktober.
Hey.
Bucktober was everyone thinking that Hex should be $1 within October.
Oh, okay, yep.
There's only 2 and a bit more weeks for Bucktober to occur.
Nearly 3, 18 days.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Or 19 days. Yeah.
Archie is saying there should be a league table for Oracle. Dude, we're not there yet. It's like the third week we've done it.
Archie, if you want to set it up.
Yeah, no expectations, buddy.
I'm sure we could graph that from all the data there.
Yeah, and we can
I
work
was
out
impressed when Jexxa set up the Google Doc.
Trust me, it's not as hard as it looks.
Hey, Bloobum,
looks impressive, but there's not much to it.
Can you please address this?
What is he wearing? His girl shirt.
Ouch.
Dude, this is
it's just got sleeves. It's just got like oh, it's a fucking atom bomb. What's girly about that?
I like it. That's what millionaires wear.
Whatever.
So anyone with any predictions on a dollar after the chain split? I mean, people are saying we could hit $1 or more by the end of the year. I mean, I'd be happy with $1 or more by the end of the year, but I'm otherwise thinking it's going to be next year.
So, sorry, say that again. You think dollar next year?
I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon Hexologist $2.01 play is still in play.
$2.01.
Yeah, and I'm gonna proviso that. I'm gonna proviso that that will be after the launch, so that we'll have both hexes added together.
So
that's cheating.
$1.01 for each hex.
That's the price of hex.
So my parabola is calling $1 on 14th of November now. Ouch.
So
Say goodbye to
Jenkins
Bucktober.
said Halloween, but $1 by Halloween, but obviously I don't think it's going to get there with the way it's looking.
Tangent, yeah, I can live with that, man. I can live with that extra 2 weeks, bro.
Yeah, fair call. Fair call.
But that's what happens, Sammy. You get everyone thinks it's not going to do anything because it goes boring like this, and the same thing happens on Bitcoin and everything. Everyone just loses interest, and then boom, all of a sudden, rockets. Yeah.
And that's why I love crypto. You know, and that's why I love that cryptos go, what?
We've got the German boys like all going all over the States, like onboarding people like no one's business. Did you see that little girl, the one that won this?
I briefly seen it. I didn't.
Oh, she's such a cutie. And she like they have a raffle, so someone gets a stake who's
like
been
5,000 hex or something, don't they?
Yeah, she was like 8 years old or something.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
just
awesome.
like, yeah, that's it. You're going to be a billionaire. Yeah. But yeah, they're going all over the States. It's like it's just a cumulative. The network effect is kind of like it doesn't happen, and then all of a sudden it's just a wave, hey, and that's why it's going to
how many new YouTubers have you seen?
Tons on Pulse.
I don't even there's names I don't recognize. Just things.
I listened
everywhere.
I listened to an Italian YouTuber today.
That's the link you put in the chat.
It was excellent.
Yeah,
it was excellent. Like really, really good.
I want to make a call out. Sorry, I want to make a call out to the UK guys. Do we have a UK presence? Is there a UK streamer?
Well, there is one guy, but he has streamed, and I've streamed with him a couple of times. I forget his name, but he
streamed with the Wake Up Hex crew. He used to stream.
No. He's just this. He's a really nice guy, but he.
Hey, we lost him.
There was a guy who used to stream with the Wake Up Hex crew, and he was an English dude.
Was British.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not a YouTuber, but there's the guy with the McLaren. He's a British Hex guy.
Oh, there's the Conrad Zen.
Yeah,
Conrad Zen. Yep.
Yeah, well, he's Hong Kong, but yeah.
Henry Hex. Henry Hex is the guy. That's right, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. The chat. You know what I've noticed? The chat is such a great resource. You guys are excellent.
Yes,
you're just like another part of my brain that, like, you know how you use your phone,
like AI,
of your brain. That's what the chat is. It's like you're thinking something and they're already on it. I fucking love you guys.
Yeah,
That's
legit,
awesome.
legit. When I stream, the chat is just so valuable for like throwing in new ideas and helping remember things and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, chat's
So
awesome.
that comment said that Wales is bearish at $1.81. Sorry, Sammy, what's up?
So just saying that we love the chat. We love you guys in chat.
I thought so that must be $1.81 like in the short term, because I was pretty sure that those guys were saying like $10 by the end of the year. Which can I just say that is extremely bullish, but I don't think
that's the double though, right? He's saying that'll be for the price of both.
Well, we're making the assumption that it's going to be out before the end of the year, but even if it is right, even if it is that's extremely bullish. But I don't think anyone can actually say that that is not possible. Can anyone say that? Like, you can't say it's not possible. Definitely possible.
So we done a double in 2 days. So sometimes we have these long stretch out periods. On average, it's every 47 days is a double, but obviously you don't do it mechanically every 47 days. That's an average.
But one time we waited 6 months for it, eh?
One time was 176 days or something like that. So nearly 6 months, and then you got an explosive move after that. So
in 2 days.
So the longer we crab sideways, then we can get. So just recently, our last doubling happened. Went from, what did we go? From, I think it was must have been 5 cents or something up to 11 cents, and then or 22 cents up to 44 cents or something like that. It happened literally in 2 days or something. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. So,
do you know what my favorite thing to tell people about, like, if Hex does when Hex does 6.5 million X, like Bitcoin has done, right? It will be $369.
So say that again. When
Hex does what Bitcoin has done, like 6.5 million X, Hex will be $369.
I don't think that's not crazy. Like, that's not silly speak.
No. That's like, I think, I don't know, but I would expect that to happen like any time between 5 and 10 years. That could happen,
I think it will happen quicker than...
It could happen earlier, but
yeah. Yo, 9 cents to 18 cents happened in 2 days. Back in July, middle of July.
Yep. So that was after a pretty, not a stupidly long sideways, very similar to what we've just done now.
Yeah. It wasn't even that crazy long. Like, the sideways was only, I'll just measure it, sort of, and it wasn't just, it was sideways and up. Like, it was mainly trending up. 2 months, 58 days.
Yep. And do you think we've had mainnet FOMO yet?
No.
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. Like, how much of that is already in the price now?
I think there was a pre-sack FOMO where everyone piled in.
Yep.
And predominantly just because they wanted to ride that wave and have more sacrificing power. So I think that definitely happened. But I don't think we've had FOMO of this is your last chance to double your Hex.
No?
Because I think most people that were getting into Hex for the sacrifice weren't worried about doubling Hex. They were worried about maximizing sacrifice firepower.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's so hard to say, though. Like, look at all the people piling in, still sacrificing for Pulse now. Like,
yeah, that's bonkers.
People don't have logic. You know, people aren't rational. So it could be built in. It could be just absolutely explode on the announcement.
I think we're gonna, like, once they say we're launching in X amount of days or whatever, I think we get massive. Like, I think we get pump. It's hard for there not to be.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a reason. That's another reason for Richard not to do a stealth launch on mainnet, because that doesn't give anyone any chance to FOMO into Hex. He'd be losing the opportunity for people to all rush in and buy Hex. If it's like, oh, mainnet's launch, it's like, oh, well, there's no point in me buying it now, and I don't get any double. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you give it every opportunity to pump that.
You want people to be like, oh shit, the double's about to happen. Get Hex like before it happens.
Yeah.
So I would say like.
Sorry, go tangent.
You go, Sammy.
No, what I was going to say is like, so you know how like big investors have money sitting around, you know, for short-term investments, they want to make their money and get out.
Yep.
So there'll probably be those people with millions of dollars sitting in there thinking once Richard announced that, yeah, why not chuck in $1 million, double my coins, and then pull it out again and dump it? Yep. And that's probably what Richard doesn't want to see. And that's why he may not give that larger window.
Oh, that's a fair call.
There's going to be volatility regardless. I mean, I think that we expect that. That's what happened after Big Payday. Yeah. So I think that this is going to be very much similar. I think there might. I mean, it's similar in that it's like a date that we're looking forward to and we're anticipating. You know, we don't quite know the date yet, but we know that it's going to be a point in time where something big's going to happen. So I think that people are going to buy more Hex when they know that it's happening. When they find out whether it's a couple of, if they know it's going to be 3 days, I think people are going to be buying Hex. So like 3 days, I'm just going to buy some more Hex and just, you know, get it on the other chain. But listen, guys, we've been going for over 2 hours now. So yeah, it's been very nice chatting to you, and thank you very much to the chat. Do you guys want to say anything before we go?
Thanks for watching, everyone. Follow me on Twitter at Sammy Chica. Take care.
Tangent.
Yeah, peace. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone in the chat. Love you guys. You make it for us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good. Thanks for everyone that's contributed in chat and help keep the conversation going and throw in some curly questions. It's all good feedback.
And guys, I'm going to end stream, but stick around for a second. And we will see all of you guys next week on the Hex Late Show. See you later.